Sorry.
It's okay.
I just realized like I didn't click record. Is it
It's
okay?
okay.
Wait. Yeah.
Do you want me to go over or you're
Okay.
okay?
It's okay. I've been recording it on my phone too, at least just like the vocals,
All right.
so
Thank you so
we're
much for
good. We're
that.
good.
Okay,
That's awesome.
perfect. Yeah.
Good save.
So sorry about that.
Awesome. Let me see.
I hope I didn't mess up your train of
No,
thought.
no, no. I mean, I have the questions in front of me, so this is perfect.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, I would say, I would say, that class had a big impact. Seminar was great, but it was also not great if you got into a class where there was only like one person really speaking. So seminar, it was like hit or miss with
Yeah.
seminar.
What books do you remember reading from seminar when you were in college?
The ones that I enjoyed the most were towards the end.
Mm,
So my senior year, the last seminar class. And again, is because I was able to relate to them a little more.
hmm
But I did get into, what was it? Virginia Woolf, I really enjoyed. I think that was like the third to last semester. I mean, the third seminar, the
hmm
third year. Those were good because we, even outside of class, I remember talking to some of my close friends. Like we were dating and they're like, well, this is what happened in this book. Like, would you like it? We really got into, basically we were learning from where we were bringing the discussions from our classroom, like
That
outside of the
side.
classroom. So
Yeah.
That's cool. You're able to
I
like
think
real life connections to it.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that definitely still happens sometimes when everybody's reading the same book and it's
yeah,
like on everybody's minds and then
yeah,
everybody's talking about it. It's fun.
yeah. It is pretty
Yeah.
cool and unique, I think, to some
Yes.
ways. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, the biggest impact. Man, I really just feel like all the things that I did even outside of the classroom. So again, doing service. So I would go to Alameda Point Collaborative. That was the place where I would do the most service. There were other sites, but there it was just being outside and gardening and just trying to help their mission, which was to bring food to what they call a food desert. You know that area in
Mm.
Alameda, um, and and like I've always, I don't know who said this. I saw it in I don't know what famous person said this, but I remember seeing it in a reel. And it was talking about what the question they were trying to answer is like, how do you choose um, what, um, not project, but what effort or what, oh man, I'm losing my, I can't remember what word. Like what topic to fight for or what to care about. How do you choose? Like there's so many things, there's so many issues. How do you choose which one you're going to focus your attention on, you know? And I think they said like pick 3. Like what are your top 3? And that really helped me because I have a lot of like different interests and things that I'm a very passionate person and I care a lot. And so I'm like, yeah, this is actually really good advice. So for me, it would be if it was going to be my top 3, environment is one of those top 3. Like I really care about the environment. And so being able to go out to Alameda Point Collaborative and do service and just be outside and do something meaningful was great. I guess if I were to say the other 2, health has become really important to me over the years just because I've been having health issues, and specifically women's health. It's so crazy to find out that they're barely adding like women into some of these studies that's like coming out that's really recent. I can't tell you specifically what, but and then just social justice in general. But specifically, I would say immigration, which is why that song was really important to me
hmm
to make and to be part of. And I was asked to be part of that. I think the artist knew me through a friend, and just knew kind of the things that I was involved with, and knew, like, not obviously, but knew through my friend that, my parents were immigrants here, and I had a good, like, idea of what that experience was like. And I had my own experiences as a Mexican American, first generation Mexican American. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. But
No,
Don't
I
okay.
worry.
I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, the different service, they're not called service fairs, but like days of service. I think
Mhm.
is that still a thing?
Is it kind of like LaSallian Heritage Days, or it might be something different?
No, so there were certain classes, it wasn't every class, but certain classes had you do like service hours or like volunteer hours. I don't know if,
Oh,
Yeah, that's we still did like that's technically what this class is right now.
yeah.
So it's
They
called
call
yeah.
it just learning now.
Yeah, so it's called engaged learning
right.
and like yeah, so like different ones do different things. Like I know a girl, I think in our class, her name's Alyssa. I know she goes down somewhere, I think in like Berkeley or Oakland and like helps this man on his farm. And the whole class like goes down like once or twice a week and helps him on his farm. And I think helps him like package stuff and I don't know. I know he like brings I don't know. I know there's something special about the farm, but I'm not involved in it, so I don't really know. But like there's a bunch of different ones that you can do. Yeah, some are more hands-on, some are more like I have a friend who's doing one where she's like teaching at a dance studio because she's a dance major, so like that's one of them. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so because I was in with my major, there were certain hours we had to
Mm-hmm.
service hours, or but I think they also called it engaged learning. So it depended. I don't remember, but there was a specific name. It wasn't called volunteer hours, but the point is,
Mm-hmm.
later on we were going to classrooms, towards sophomore, or sorry, junior and senior year. We were going out to classrooms, but
Yeah.
the beginning years we were able to kind of go to different. So I do remember one weekend we went to a preschool and we were cleaning toys, or just like
Mm-hmm.
organizing, like helping
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
preschool. um so anyway, and then meeting people that were there too was great. So that's again, that's where I met some of my, like, and we're still friends to this day. We still talk. Like, I remember when we were like putting mulch, around an olive tree, like, that the conversations, because you're doing service, but and you're feeling good about it, but so
Mm-hmm.
then it kind of opens a different side of you. Like, you're able to, like, at least for me, it would get me out of my shell and be a little more like, oh, let me introduce myself and like meet new people. So
I love that. I think that's a really good take on that,
yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
Let's see. Um, and I guess I can't move on without saying I did study abroad my junior
Oh.
year.
Oh,
And that had a huge impact on me because
Mm-hmm.
the way I was able to do it. So I was in Labor and Civic Studies, and that major was pretty demanding, especially because I had to do all of those service hours. But I was also a double major in Spanish. And so I'm like, this will take, like, I'll take all of my Spanish classes and then kind of like, work out my schedule that way. So that was really cool because it was the first time I was ever going to Mexico. I decided to go to Mexico. They had Spain as an option, but I chose Mexico. Um, and it was the first time I had visited without my parents because usually anytime we would go, we'd go visit family. And so I'd be traveling with my family. So it was the first time I got to travel to Mexico and also just with friends, and with the professor. He doesn't teach there anymore. I think he just retired, but it was Profe Alvaro Ramirez. That's who took us. And where we studied abroad was Cuernavaca, Mexico, which was like an hour from Mexico City. And that was, man, that was so cool. So this is how old I am. We saw the inauguration of Obama
Oh,
when we were down in Mexico. So that was pretty cool. And it was actually
cool.
so what was interesting is okay, I wanted to go to Mexico because I wanted to learn about more about my history and my heritage. But I actually, and this is something like I didn't expect to like learn this, but I actually learned more about like how American I am by being down in Mexico. Because I was hearing
I'm
like
sure, yeah.
I was hearing, like a couple, what was it? It was maybe our national anthem. I heard it and I was teary-eyed. I'm like, whoa, I've never felt this way. But maybe there was like the homesickness,
Yeah.
happening. But um that was really interesting. To be there and to travel. And I got to see my parents when I go to Mexico with my parents, they did a good job of taking me out and to visit different places. We're from the state of Michoacan, which I like to say Michoacan is like the California of Mexico because there's a lot of agriculture there. There's a lot of
Hmm.
it's beautiful right now. There's the Monarch Monastery that's in Michoacan. I don't know if you've seen that in Instagram, but it's really great. We didn't visit that then during our trip, but I got to see other parts of Mexico, which I was excited to explore. Um, and yeah, that had a big impact on my identity. As an adult, I felt more like an adult while traveling. Um, yeah, it had a big impact in me. And then coming back, so that was junior year. And so I guess I became like really, really independent and really more sure of who I was, like even more so.
Hmm.
So I think that's a good lead into like what then happened my senior year.
Uh-huh.
Um, let's see, how did you get involved on campus and do you wish you had done anything differently? Um, so I've talked about like the service stuff I would do. I was very busy. My planner, like I had a planner for homework and a planner for like all the things I was gonna do in a day, like the different meetings I was gonna go to, the different clubs. I also worked on campus, so I was a pretty busy bee. I didn't like mean to be. I just and like especially as
Was.
I got like old, like
Kind of happen on its
old,
own.
yeah, older and older, I just was like meeting new people, getting more involved. And so I've talked about mission ministry. I did the Spanish choir. I was also part of just the regular mass choir. Um, let me think. Oh, then the cultural nights. Once it was senior year, I was part of the committee. But if I wasn't in the committee, oh, I still performed. So I performed like I'm pretty sure 3 years, because the one year I was studying abroad. Um, if Let me see, would I have done anything? I feel like the one thing I didn't do was the senior dance. I don't think I regret it because none of my friends were gonna go anyway. So I feel like that's the only thing I didn't do. I went to basketball games. I remember my brother came to visit. He's like 3 years younger than I am. My brother and my cousin came over to visit, and I took him to a basketball game, and they still talk about that day. Um, so it was fun to be able to not just enjoy it myself, but to share it with, my family too. Um, and then I don't know if we were talking about the protest, but then yeah, it all led. I feel like the connections that I made, sorry about that, the connections that I made throughout, my first, second, and third year, um, helped like well, one, be more comfortable again, know myself more, know what I care about, um to get to the point where I'm like, okay, now I've learned a lot. These are the kind of the things I faced during my first 3 years. Like I have something to say by my fourth year. um In what ways did your college prepare you for after graduation? Yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't expect to have to like stand up for myself, but that I'm glad I had that because yes, that definitely like I needed to do that like once I got out in the workforce. Um, but also just to, it wasn't all bad, just also it helped with my confidence. I think you really need to have that, in order to just make it to the interview, make it past the interview, make it day to day. Um, if you could give one piece of advice to current or prospective students, what would it be? Yeah, I think it would be going back to like pick one thing that you really care about. I think it would be that. And then through there, you're gonna meet other people and you're gonna meet other people who might introduce you to other things you didn't know you cared about. And it just like expands like your worldview. And I think that's the point. I think, yeah, I think you can benefit a lot from learning about other experiences. And
Hmm.
yeah.
For sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's like
Yes.
really cool to like just hear about how like your different experiences at St. Mary's like help form like the person you are today and just understanding how like the people like you meet lead to like other opportunities and learning more about yourself and it's really inspiring.
Cool. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Also, if you have any like old pictures that you are willing to
Oh my
share
gosh.
and be seen, we would
Okay.
really appreciate that.
Okay.
Because I think end goal is creating a um like a website to like kind of just share everybody's like oral histories and what we've learned and all that kind of stuff. So it's great to have a website that isn't just a bunch of text and a bunch of pictures. So if you have any, that'd be great. If not, no pressure. We're definitely like, I mean, I will definitely be like looking into some of the stuff that like you talked about, what especially like the books that you've read, like Rereading America. I'd love to look into that. Currently we don't have a library, so
You mean
they're like redoing the library right now. So
it's crazy?
we don't have a library, but I'm sure I could find it somewhere. So yeah, but
Archive.
anyways,
So
yeah, the
Professor
archives.
he's getting in touch with the archivist, so hopefully we'll be able to find something there possibly. That's
Yeah.
like another place we can look to.
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
for pictures or just information in general?
I think both.
Yeah.
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 Whoa. Okay. I can look. I'm looking over here because I have a box full of books. I'm like, it's probably in there. Um, if I find it, I could drop it off.
Oh,
If
Awesome.
cool.
need be, if you couldn't get a copy of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
Awesome.
we can.
I'm gonna post the last 5 questions that deal more with like the student activism on campus, if you're cool with getting into that part of the interview. Awesome. There we go. So feel free to take your time like to digest the questions. I apologize for not having them sooner.
No, it's okay. This is good. This is better because then I like second guess myself, and this way it's more on the spot.
Perfect. Good to know.
Um, okay, what initially motivated you to get involved in activism during your time at college? Um, so I remember it wasn't just our struggle. There were a couple of protests that we went to before. There was one for education. I have that picture. I'm like, that would be a good one. My
Perfect.
hair is completely different. It's dark. It's like in a bob. I have paint on my face. We have a sign. We were definitely, and we were with Myrna Santiago. So those, I don't. Whenever I talk about St. Mary's, some people will go like, "What kind of school did you go to?" Like I'll talk about like first this project, right? And how cool it is. That you guys are, getting in touch with alumni. But then I'll talk about the wine festival that I'll go to as an alumni, I'm going back to my college. Like I have, yes, I had like not so great experiences, I'm also grateful for the experiences I have that I still want to like return.
Mhm.
But then it'll be, oh man, what was I gonna talk about? Oh, the relationships, because I'll say, well, I went to Mivna, and one of the other students, I forget her name, starts with a B. One of the other alumni, she says she's gone to Mivna's like cookouts or like home parties, and I've also gone to those. So like it really is um um like I really did create these bonds with these different professors. Also, Profe, like I studied abroad with him. I don't like talk to him every day. I'm not texting to him every day, but I know that if I ever did reach out to him, like um, he would answer. He would hear me out. And and again, I feel like that's really unique. And why I'm mentioning the professors is because um, I feel that with their presence, it gave me like again someone that I could look up to, um, someone that just reflected me, and I knew that if I felt that, other people probably feel that. And so I understood that once this protest came about, I'm like, yes, I like totally understood why it was happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My roommates, and I was telling them that I was doing this project, and they were like, yeah, I didn't really understand, what they were protesting, what you all were protesting about. So even people that are really close to me were still like very separated from, or probably separated themselves from the issues that were happening on campus. Like they were so
Mhm.
separated from them that they didn't, like even me being like one of their closest friends, didn't understand what was happening. So
Mhm.
it was almost like we were living in two different realities, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so so that's why I want to bring up the professors. So having them, and also there were professors and faculty. I'm telling you, the provost was there too, giving us letting us borrow camping equipment, because the whole point was a camp out right on campus,
Mhm.
and not everybody had camping gear. And people donated tents, blankets, sleeping bags, just all sorts of different gear. And again, I really feel like it was a special time at St. Mary's. Like the right people were around for that sort of thing to happen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, what motivated me was also hearing from professors like, this is important. You guys should speak up out about this.
Mhm.
It wasn't just so having the support there. And so the reason I got involved specifically is, yes, I understood we needed more people of color, and the faculty and staff, and also the students. But also I was helping, I think I talked about this a little bit, but I was helping the Sodexo workers. So
Mm.
senior year, I was working through SILSA. I was a Bonner leader. There was like 10 of us, probably. Malena was one too. And we all had our own special project. And my special project was um, to work on campus. I really wanted to be on campus because I had done a lot of service outside of campus, but I wanted to stay in campus. And I had heard about a, a student like 2 years older than me starting this English program for the Sodexo workers. And I felt like I should continue it. And so I did. And I had student volunteers come and be like their tutor. I paired them up. I had like lesson plans for them. It was a really cool time. But something that they talked about was wanting to unionize. And when the demands finally came out, I just felt like that. wasn't being represented, so I decided to join and kind of be a voice for them, but also adding to, or also, yeah, I also agreed with the other demands that were being brought up.
Mhm.
That's
Let's see.
awesome.
So what were the specific things that you were protesting for?
So it was more so demands. So
Okay.
um, we we were asking um, for more representation of people of color in the student body, but then
Hmm.
also professors and staff. I know another one was to read material, you know, from people of color as well. And I think specifically to add it to seminar, which I think there were a few things, but you know, it's mostly Western thought.
Hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
those are like the top ones I can remember.
Hmm.
Um, I could get you a list probably if I,
That would be
yeah,
great.
those pictures. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
sure, you know, Malena has already presented on our struggle, and she has a lot of like a lot of pictures, but then
Hmm.
also most likely she has the demands like written down, so I can get that for you guys.
Awesome.
She has a really great memory. I'm sorry, you got the one that doesn't have the great memory, but I will get you the resources. I know. um,
And
yeah,
then what was your professor's name? Not your Spanish professor, but the other one you were talking about.
Myrna Santiago, and she's a women's study professor when I was there. I don't know if it's a different name now.
Hmm. How do
Um,
you spell her first name?
Myrna.
Okay.
Myrna. Myrna. Yeah, so she was a big influence.
Hmm.
The education protest that I talked about, she was there. I'm pretty sure we were there because she most likely told Malena, who told us, because Malena and Mina are really close. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so that's most likely why we were out there. um, oh, I guess we did talk about the causes and issues. That's kind of cool. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Honestly, number three is kind of answered too. I didn't even like realize when I was asking
okay,
that question.
yeah, let me see.
Um, I would say number four would be so unless you feel the need to add anything on two or three.
Yeah, let's see. Hmm. I guess the only thing I could add to two is when it's asking about causes or issues, it wasn't a cause or an issue, but um, I will say being remember I talked about how I feel like I created spaces for myself while I was at St. Mary's, like wherever I
Hmm.
felt like I wasn't, like wherever I felt there was something missing. So one of the things was the Spanish choir. I had grown up Catholic, going to church every day. And even though there was mass on campus and I was part of the choir, there was just something about it not being in Spanish that really like felt that it was missing. And so I guess I just want to add like I guess that was the beginning of me being like I need to create space for myself.
Hmm.
And you know, and it wasn't like I was the only one going to mass. There were a couple, you know, there were attendees is what I'm trying to say, like and also I was able to sing the music I grew up singing, like choir, Spanish choir music, you know, so I was able to do that. um and so I, again, I guess why it mattered to me was um I wanted to feel if there was ever a time where I felt like I didn't belong at St. Mary's, or that, you know, this space wasn't created for me. I learned like, no, you can create spaces, a space for yourself. And I
Hmm.
guess then because I learned that early on freshman year, that's what allowed me to be like, yeah, taking over the front lawn at St. Mary's like totally makes sense. Like you can create a space, and it wasn't like maybe some people saw it as like, oh, they're taking over. Like remember when Occupy happened? Like, oh, like what a menace, what or like people might have felt a way about it. It wasn't how I saw it was this is a space like almost like where time stood still and we had to face like these things that we were probably ignoring day to day, like or and also like bringing up issues that people, like I said, even my closest friends who are like Hispanic didn't necessarily think were a problem, it and even if it missed people, but it was a space, it was like in your face, it wasn't just an idea, it wasn't a thought, it was like we are out here, this is important, and if you want to talk about it, this is the space where you can talk about it, and
Hmm.
also this is a space like if you feel that it's important, like join us, um, and let's show everybody like that we need to talk about these issues and we need to have a space to, I guess, just materialize like a thought.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What challenges or pushback did you face from the administration peers, and how did you navigate them? Um, I I don't remember. I'm pretty sure there was pushback from admin, but again, I do remember seeing the provost there, which gave the sense like you are welcome to protest at least,
Hmm.
maybe she didn't like completely agree with everything that we were doing, but she did acknowledge us, which is huge.
Yeah.
um and yes, there were peers that, again, like I said, didn't understand what we were doing, thought that, because you have to imagine um the front lawn with tents. There are about like 7 tents. We would eat. The setup was like we were kind of like around, like just in the front part of the grass. I'm sure we'll get pictures for you guys, but we would eat in the morning. We were fasting too. So first thing in the morning, there was someone that was in charge of food, and so they would bring food over to where the statue is. That was like our breakfast area. Um, there were people, and it was like business as usual for us. We were still going to our classes,
Hmm.
but because we had like a fire going on, we kind of like smelled like campfire, so we were
Oh
going
no.
to like these our classes smelling like campfire. But I feel like again, I thought it was like a way of being like, yeah, you can't ignore us.
Yeah.
You're gonna be, going to your classes, you see us, but now
Yeah.
it's like you smell us, like we're in your class, like you can't ignore us
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to say. I think there were some people that were trying to like mess with us, mess with our campsite. So then we had to like have someone on watch and we rotated, so we had to do that. But it was mostly, I do remember campus ministry being upset because it was during the week that they were having their, I don't know if it was First Communion, but they were having something. It was like leading up to Lent. Um, but again, it's not that we chose that we didn't do that on purpose. It just happened
Hmm.
to be around that time.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess I'll skip to 5. How was your experience with student activism? How has your experience with student activism influenced your life or career after graduation? Um, I really do feel, um, I guess it's almost like time can be a test of like whether you are actually about it or you're not. because I know some people that I thought um, were really like understood the cause, like has it that hasn't carried into their life. It's almost like they went on the other side, or not, I'm not gonna say, but like they're capitalists now, so I really feel, I guess I'm proud of myself that I've been like this way from the beginning.
Hmm.
I think it's because of the awareness I've had since I was a child. I had to be aware, or people made me aware, like that I'm not necessarily the majority at the time where I grew up, or that I didn't come from a privileged place. So I've kind of carried that as a kid, you know, and I understood that going into St. Mary's, like, you're definitely not wealthy, and, you know, um, but I have these very strong morals and values, um, and I have them to this day, and even if I did go work, for um, a corporate company, I was still very much myself
Hmm.
throughout. There were some things that I did have to um not shield, but maybe not hide, but I wasn't like completely myself. I couldn't really be myself and like be outspoken.
Hmm.
Um but it still hasn't changed me. Like, I still believe um in equality, these different things that um the different issues that I cared about then, I still care about now. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense. It's like it carries through like all that like passion and like understanding the cause like carries through into like your line of work today, and like wherever you like are present, it's still there. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there are times if I'm like being reflective about it, I'm like, man, like, um, I didn't really go into like what I thought. Like, I'm not a teacher.
Mhm.
Currently, that could change, but I did work at a nonprofit health clinic, um, and even I feel like, especially in places that has nothing to do with social justice, that really is the test. Like, I remember Black Lives Matter happened while I was working at corporate Tesla. And it was just like so bizarre, um, to be going to work and pretending like this stuff wasn't happening outside of work. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if I could be going to work every day in the middle of like what's happening now with immigration, because you end up, especially if you end up in a place where you're the like minority, it almost feels like you have to explain things um, to the people that aren't a minority, and one, that's not really your responsibility. But if you do feel like I want people to understand, then like you can. But then there's also that line, like, you can't really talk about this at work. No one really says it, but there's that understanding. So it's just like a weird place to be, and I'm glad I'm not there right now. But again, I I am proud that I'm, even if I'm not working at a school where you like see, where it's like visibly like shown, like, oh, you care about these issues and your job reflects that. I'm still proud because now I'm like teaching, like, these are the things that I care about. I'm teaching them to my daughter, so it's like it's being passed on.
Hmm.
And I'm not necessarily like pointing out all the bad things to her, but I'm teaching, like, I'm trying to teach her to,
Yeah.
yeah, to still care
Yeah.
about others, and to speak up for herself, for sure. She's learned that one really well. Like,
Yeah. That one's easy.
she's outspoken, which I love, and confident. It's so cool to see. Um, and also like teaching even like my friend groups about the different issues, um, um, what's going on in the world. So yeah, I feel like I'm glad that I haven't completely like detached uh, from that part of myself where
Mhm.
that cares. So
Yeah, you can definitely see that
cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering all our questions. Um, Going forward, our group will be Alexander's having some tech issues, so he can be here today. But going forward, we're going to be planning out dates for our next three meetings. We definitely want to do one of those like in the media room. That would be great. So that will be probably maybe like our like second, not like our next meeting, maybe the meeting after that, because I think we have to work with our professor to set that up, and we go on spring break.
Okay.
Um,
This is
well,
next week.
like yeah, next week. So we will send you our timeline for everything and just like, keep in contact and keep updated. And, even if we're not doing interviews, we'll definitely still be like sending you questions if you could like maybe answer like over email or anything like that. Or I don't know, anything that we may come across or you come across. Always willing to share and stay in communication with that. So,
Cool.
oh
For
yeah.
pictures, is it specifically like our struggle pictures? I can get you a couple of those, or
Whatever you want to share, our struggle pictures would be great. Pictures of your protests would be great. Um, I don't know, maybe some study abroad stuff I think would be awesome. Cool. I don't know, like truly anything that you're willing and comfortable to share that you want to be seen, that you think is an important part of your story and um, this whole story in general, I think is great.
okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Just wanted to get a guide.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Eric, do you have anything else to finish up?
No, I think we're good for yeah, for now. We'll we'll
Okay.
we'll get back to like planning out like the remaining like two meetings. We're just gonna need to
Mhm.
kind of regroup on our end, but yeah.
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 And if there's anything you want me to elaborate on, I am better at writing than in person, I feel.
Cool.
So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
feel free to
Then
send that over.
we'll definitely maybe hit you with some questions, some follow-up questions after this meeting for sure.
Sounds good to me.
Great. Thank you. Well, I hope all of you enjoy your weekend. And again, just thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Have a good spring break.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.